Vocês estão ouvindo Bob D ao vivo do Brasil.
Oh, baby, 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 baby.
All right, welcome to bobbydlive.com on this beautiful June the 24th. So delighted to have you here. Thank you for sharing the love, and thank you to all the wonderful guests who've been here for the last 3 weeks. And this is already the first month, coming to a conclusion already. Amazing, isn't it? Today, wonderful artists, wonderful personalities appearing on Bobby D Live, including Victoria Horne. She'll be live from Eclipse Recording Studios in Florida. Unbelievable. She will be here at the bottom of the hour for 30 minutes to share her career, her passion, her music, her art. So you want to be with us. You want to get the word out on social media. We'll also have an amazing individual I met several months ago via social media, and we engage into some chats. And, you know, my purpose is to connect you with wonderful souls. And the more I chat with him, the more I understand the core of his spirit. And we're going to have Nick Catricala right here with us today as well. We're going to have Johan Toff. He's no stranger to Bobby D Live. He was here on the inaugural show, but he's here for a different purpose today. Real cool. Out of London, UK, Johan Toff will be with us. We also have for the fourth consecutive week, and it comes to a close with James Arthur Ray for now on Bobby D Live, and we'll have him in the future, but he's going to close out on his 4 philosophies of mindset, mission, money. We're going to talk about marketing today. Very important for entrepreneurs who are online, offline. You'll get a lot of value from what James is going to share with us today. And we're also featuring wonderful Wolf Entertainment artists and VA Victoria Horne. She'll be here live, but we'll featuring her music as well. Legendary Sydney Barnes, Common Culture, and Peter Wolf. All this happening today on June the 24th on Bobby D Live. That's the wonderful music of VA on Bobby D Live. The track is Focus, Missing You, and hopefully you guys are not going to miss the next guest. Oh my goodness. Stay tuned. We've got her all queued up, but let me give you a little bit of some history on Victoria Horne, and she's no stranger to the international scene. She's that's actually where she started, and she started in Paris, and she joined the Joe Turner's Live in Concert Tour just a few years ago, right? And and also a unique Belgian performance coupled Victoria Horne with blues boogie woogie pianist Renaud Patigny and his trio for the Festival International de Boogie Woogie de Rock Bro, leading to the well-received blues single Let It Roll. And in Germany, Victoria performed the national anthem Amazing Grace during the NFL World Bowl held in Frankfurt, Germany. And in the late 2016, I remember that, and we're going to actually feature later in the show, Sound of Your Body. I absolutely love that track, but that's just one tiny little dimension of her tremendous talent, as you will discover today. And she was also seen singing on the Bob Dylan video, Tight Connection to My Heart. I had to check that out, and I did yesterday, and sure enough, there she is. Wonderful. And she made that video in her early stage of her career, and obviously that song has been a very popular download on the internet. So Victoria's talent and professional training continues to shine through until this day, and she remains in a class distinction, and we're going to have her right now coming in. Let me just cue her up to make sure that she's live. You're looking wonderful. Yes, things are great.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
I'm very happy to be here.
Okay.
I was running like a mad woman this morning to get here, but I'm happy I got here.
Well, you've been running like a mad woman for the last several months, ever since I met you. Right?
Yeah, I just can't stop. Can't stop.
Well, I got to put a little plug for the wonderful environment you're in today, and it's compliments of Eclipse Recording Studio in St. Augustine, and thank you to Jim for making that happen. And what a beautiful studio, huh? Wow.
Yeah, he's here. He's here with me right now. I love him so much.
Well,
if you have a chance to stop on by with Eclipse online and check him out, check out the musicians they use. It's really great. What a family here.
Yeah, and what a team player. What a team player he is. That's for sure. I'll tell you, I barely knew him, and he went the extra mile, and I'll spare you the detail, but he went beyond the call of duty to make this happen. Let me just leave it at that.
Well, right.
You already know that about him, right?
Yes, we've been knowing each other for a very long time.
Very cool. Well, what's the latest and the grooviest and the most exciting thing you're doing these days? And then we'll go back into your history for the viewers to understand, right, what you're all about.
Well, what I'm doing, I'm working with Mr. Helmut. Thanks to you. And I'm so happy to be in that family. He's been pushing me a lot online, and I talk to him from time to time. And like you, I haven't met him yet. I've been trying to get him, but it's not been that easy. But perhaps one day we'll have it. What I want to say, I'm working with the crowd funding for children, and if we could talk a little bit about that. I'm just very interested in giving back, so you say.
Of course. Well, we're here to talk about you, so whatever you want to talk about, we're going to talk about. So let's get into that. You're helping children, but in what capacity? What kind of organization are you working with, Victoria?
Well, it's the Children's Aid Society, which is in New York City. I had a situation as a young child living in a shelter, and went from there into a boarding school. And so I know the feeling, how it is when you don't have your parents and you don't really have all the support. Of course, you have the support of the quote-unquote the school and some people that you know, but the actual guidance, I got it from people from time to time, from people who were teachers at like Vassar College and Bennett College up in New York State. I went to a school called Millbrook High School. In my high school years is when I was at this boarding school. So with all my traveling and talking to people and singing as much as I can and giving as much as I can on stage, performing, I just thought, maybe it's just time you think about trying to give something back to people who helped you along the way when you didn't have family or when you wasn't sure about where you're going to live or eat or sleep, or and a lot of children are going through these things these days because it's traumatic, very traumatic for children when they don't have support.
Of course. How wonderful. Wow. And it's amazing how we, it's not uncommon for people like you, they reach a level in their career and they say, I've got to give back. But what's the trigger? It's something that happened to them usually that they're emotionally really connected with, and they go down that path. So wonderful that you're working with children and you're creating a fun crowdfunding campaign to do what specifically? What would you do with the money, for example, as you're raising some money to help these children? In what capacity are you helping them monetarily?
Well, monetarily, I just want to show them that they can be whatever they want to be, and no matter what anybody says to them, that they don't have to get into a gang-related situation, and that they have to have pride in themselves, and just to say that it's possible. I never thought that I could travel like almost 85 countries in my life and visit these countries such as the Philippines, Thailand, China, Russia. I had a great time in Russia performing for the audiences there because they were so into the music. But what I'm trying to say is that there is hope, and whatever way I can give it, by donating money to the society, whatever I can. This is what I'd like to do.
Beautiful. And then
Basically what I'm saying.
right, and you come, well, again, you're talking about, kids have choices, right? And they don't have to go down the wrong path, but in your upbringing, where you come from, your roots, you've seen all kinds of situations, haven't you? And,
yes, I have. Yes, I have.
Can you, I know you don't want to go into that sort of heavy-duty stuff, but, I mean, just give the viewer an understanding that, look, life is grandiose now, but it wasn't always that way. So give the viewer some hope. So give us a situation maybe when you were younger, something that totally impacted you.
I will tell you that I had the best person in my whole life, and that was my grandmother. Her name is Edith R. Horne, Reddick, coming from Sumter, South Carolina, and went to New York, was a domestic for a minute, an elevator operator, till she became a shop steward and a spokesman, and was going with ladies to the congresses, to Canada for different sessions for women, and with her having to work all the time at Bellevue Hospital, she wasn't able to take care of me. My mother was somewhere, I can't get into that, but she wasn't around at that time.
Gotcha. And
I was raised in Harlem, New York. And I used to go to as a little kid, I remember we lived in a railroad house. We had railroad apartments, so that's what they used to call them. So when my grandmother was in the kitchen, I would run to the front room and look out the window. It would be at night with the lights flashing, neon lights flashing. And it was across the street from a very famous, I told you about this jazz club.
Yes.
You want to say the name?
Oh, my goodness. You know what? I've got such a great memory for those things. I should have written it down, but I'll let you tell the story because it's your life. It's like the famous jazz club in Harlem, right?
Right. Well, it's on 118th Street. Now you're making me nervous now. But it's a Mittens Playhouse.
Okay. Perfect.
And the Mittens was around in 1938. It was a jazz place where the bebop players would come. You see Miles Davis coming out at night there. You see Nina Simone.
Wow.
You see, but anyway, my grandmother would holler at me, "Gal, you better get from out that window." And then I run away, but I wouldn't know what that was. I mean, looking at us, all these fabulous Cadillacs outside, and it was just very interesting for me at that time.
So
when my mother did finally come around, I found out that she was a jazz singer. And, what my mother was doing, she won second place at the Apollo Theater.
That is incredible.
And, my mother used to sing all the time, so that's why I sing all the time.
It's all part of your genetics, I guess, huh?
Yes, it is.
Wow.
Yes, it is.
Wow. So early days, the influence, exposure, impression, right? You have a very unique style, but your major musical influence come from which artists specifically?
I started in a classical way. Most people say, "Oh, you sang in the church." No, not really. I love Barbra Streisand, believe it or not. Then I had a little bit of Della Reese. I had a bit of experience with Diana Washington, Billie Holiday.
Wow.
They were my influences.
Nice.
As a kid growing up.
Nice blend.
I remember a song called Darktown Strutter's Ball. And when I was small, my mother tried to take me to tap class. It didn't work too well, but I'll be down to get you in a taxi, honey. 2 steps forward, we're going to have a ball.
Right.
Now, honey, don't you be late. Going to be there when the band starts playing.
There you go. Right.
Things like this.
Very cool. And now, and as an artist, I mean, you're saying earlier you've traveled in 85 countries.
At least.
Your favorite? How can you have a favorite out of 85? But I mean, if you could pick the top 1, 2, 3, maybe. What are those countries?
Well, I got very involved in Japan. when I first went there, I just thought, well, what kind of place is this? It's not like, say, you have a right hand or a left hand. And I was like, well, I don't understand the culture. So it's like more left than right. But I was there for about 6 years.
Really?
And so I learned a lot about the culture. And the first big show I ever had there was at the Mikado, the most famous theater in the world. It held about 1,000 hostesses. They had an orchestra, over 17 pieces, and there was gondolas up in the air where dancers would be sitting in the gondolas and they'd go around the theater. It was really spectacular. The floors would come from underneath, and you had to rehearse with these really old-fashioned microphones. You have to actually hold your head up to sing. And do you remember? They used to say, "This is the Mikado." And so I learned a lot from the Japanese. They taught me a lot of discipline, really. And then off from Japan to Germany, and that's another whole story, and a whole other life.
Right. So you love
Yeah,
Germany. So
so-
you got a connection with Helmut Wulf there through the culture,
Yes,
right?
I do.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So I speak. Yeah.
You speak a little bit?
Hi Helmut, just want to say, ja, ich spreche Deutsch ein bisschen auch.
Wow, good for you.
Mein Name ist Victoria Horne.
Wow.
Vielen Dank für heute Abend. Für heute. Thanks, not this evening, but today.
So how many languages? Because you've traveled so much. How many languages can you get by?
Let's put it this way, because I love music so much, I would say that I can sing in about 6.
Really?
And yes, and my first one was Japanese. And so if you wanted to get by, you had to learn some of the language and to be able to speak with people.
Right.
So that's where the cruise ship life came in. I started working with Costa Cruises for a while, and I couldn't work with them if I was just only singing in English. They said, "Excuse me, but you have to sing in Italian, please. And I want you to sing in German. Yes, and I want you to sing in French." And so that started me there as well. I also have a French connection. I had a song out called "I Love You So Caruso," which was sung by Pavarotti, written by Lucia Dalla. And when I came to France in one of my travels, I was introduced to this song, and I had a problem saying "Te voglio bene assai." They were working with me on that forever. But "I Love You So Caruso" was in the early 90s, and it should have been top 50, but it only landed to 63. But many people are playing the song "I Love You So Caruso."
Sure.
Te voglio bene assai.
Hey, a cappella. I like that. On the improv. Now, do you sing with an accent? I mean, I always blown away. I go back to the Beatles. When I first heard the Beatles, they were singing and they sounded American. And then I heard them in an interview and they had a strong accent. I could never figure out how an artist can sing without an accent.
Well,
Does that happen to you?
I tried to simulate the sound of a particular song in the language. I tried. Okay, I may be out of 100, I might be 75, 85. But after singing show after show, concert after concert, it started to get better for me. So I have a favorite Italian song called "Incancellabile." It's by Laura Pausini. And I've been working on that song for quite a long time. And when the Italian audience comes into a theater, they are surprised. So I jump from one language to the other. So,
Not easy.
feeling a little,
Not easy, but cool that you're able to do that. Let's we could be here for hours. You got such a career. I want to share. We're going to play a music break, and we're going to feature one of your a recent song, "Time," in a moment. But before we do that, Victoria, I'd like to talk about your photography skills. And while you're talking about it, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to roll some images. Okay, fair enough. So tell us about your passion for photography and what you're doing with that.
Well, I've had a couple of exhibitions, and Jim's helped me on one of them occasionally. I started to pick up the camera about 10 years ago, and just came to me. It was not something that I went to school for or learned. It just was, I wanted to remember the places that I traveled, so that when I became an older person and I couldn't travel, I would remember where I've been and what it meant to me and how I felt at the time when I took these photos. So basically that's it. It's just, my mother told me later on that she liked taking photos too. And she looked at me and smiled like she always reminds me. She says, "Oh, where'd you get that voice from?" I said, "Well, and I look at her and say, "Oh, you gave it to me." She said, "Oh, yes, and the photographs as well," meaning that it's in the genes, perhaps. That's what it is. I don't know.
Wow. Yeah, well, it's
that's why I can answer.
In the genes, in the passion of it all, and let me get you back on full screen here, and yeah, I'm playing with a slideshow system here I never used, so I got a little tripped over my buttons here while you were talking, but people get the gist of the feels and the vibes of the photo. Let's do this, Victoria, if you don't mind, because my goodness, we got about 15 minutes, and you got a wonderful track. Talk about the new song, Time, and then we'll play it for our viewers.
Well, originally I wrote it for my grandmother, who has passed away. Is not with me right now. And that was the original idea. And then the other idea that I came across was that we don't know how long we have on this planet.
That's so true.
And so we have to treat each other with kindness and respect and try to enjoy life when we can, even when things are a little bit tough. So that's what the song is.
Indeed.
Time to live, time to give life, time to give love, and you will feel much better.
So let me do that. Let me cue it up, and that's about 4 minutes or so. We'll be right back, and I'll keep you on cam at times during the song for the viewers to listen to this wonderful track by Victoria Horne, titled Time. And here we go. I need to do a couple of things here, so stand by here. We're going to cue it up in real time on Bobby D Live. Enjoy that.
And time to give love, and you will feel much better. When you're in doubt and feel all alone, take a moment, you can see him. He's there. All you have to do is listen. There may be days in your life when you think you got no place to turn to, and you just can't make it alone. Call his name, call his name. Time to love life, and time to give love, and you will feel much better. Time to plant your seeds and see how they grow. The sun shines, there lies the answer. Time to share your wealth, that's the kind of love you can give from one another. Oh, he's there. All you have to do is listen. There may be days in your life when you think you got no place to turn to, and you just can't make it alone. Call his name, call his name. you got to stand up. You got to stand up, you know what I'm talking about. Hey, yeah, you know you can hold out. You gotta be a man. You gotta be a girl. Yeah, you know you got to be true to yourself. Hey, you gotta live. You gotta believe in life. Oh, hold on, hold your head high. Lord, on his way. Time to live life. Oh.
That got the vibes just right on Bobby D Live. Thank you.
Welcome.
Your volume, you're so soft-spoken that your volume, I can't crank it up any higher. So maybe we'll have to use more lung power to get your...
Okay.
All right. So tell us about that track, how that came about, and maybe about the CD Fly, right?
Well, Free to Fly is the name of the CD that you're talking about. It's a jazz CD.
Free to Fly.
That was recorded in Monte Carlo with a good friend of mine, Carlo Paggio. So we have that particular CD up on cdbaby.com.
Ah, beautiful.
With the jazz lovers. Moon Glow is on there. Girl Talk is on there. Lullaby of Birdland. So this is from my jazz roots.
Your jazz
Time
roots.
is just another. Yes, my jazz roots.
Right.
I fit in different boxes: jazz, blues, rock and roll, and so Free to Fly.
A little gospel flavor in that track, Time, as well, right at the
Time
end.
got a lot of that influence in me as well. I grew up with a musical family, so we listen to everything.
Beautiful.
So that's what it's about, for us.
And you did the dance stuff. You and I met about a year ago, and late last year you made me aware of this track, Sound of Your Body. I'll play that at the end of the show for the viewers because it's like I just love that kind of music. But tell us how that came about. Several years ago, right?
Well, several years ago, I was living in Germany, and I met these two young guys that said, "Hey, we've got a song that we'd like you to sing for us." I said, "What is it?" "It's called Sound of Your Body." I said, "Okay, I'll come and check it out." And so I did, and it sat on the shelf for quite a while.
Right.
Until you came along and said, "Well, what is this?" That's how you and I got together, which I'm so happy to have met you. I'm so happy to be connected to you. I'm so happy that you have brought me out and brought some sunshine in my life. Can you hear me?
Well, how can you need more sunshine? I mean, you live in Florida. Come on.
Well, I'm not always in Florida.
No,
I'm not always in Florida.
You travel the globe. You're a globe trotter, aren't you?
All the time.
Yeah.
Yes, I am.
Cool.
Yes, but that's what I want you to know.
All right. Well, you're welcome. And
Thank you so much.
Well, you've been supportive too of my work, even before I got back on the saddle. So thank you for that. I mean, for you are becoming a social media queen. There's no doubt about it. You know how to navigate and make some noise.
Yeah, well, I love people, so why not?
It's natural, isn't it? You don't have to fake it. You don't have to try to become something you're not. You just leverage the tools, right? Very, very cool.
That's it.
Right.
That's it.
So we got a few minutes. Yeah. If anything you want to leave, let's face it, your career is just, we'll have to get you back here in the future. But if you wanted to leave something that most people may not know about Victoria Horne and you want the viewers today to know about, what is that little secret about your career that most people don't tune into?
Well, I don't like people to put me in a box and say, okay, you're just a jazz singer, you're just a blues singer, you're just a rock and roll singer. Whatever I hear and feel, I give. I started with classical music, and I studied with a gentleman called Professor Boltner, who's Sonny Stitt's father. And he was a very stickler about the classical music, giving light piano lessons and so on and so forth. So I'm going back to those roots. That's why I'm mentioning it. I just met a gentleman here in Florida who's doing a rock and roll electronic music with strings.
Wow.
And using my classical voice. So
Yes.
we're working on that. So I'm just giving that out to you too, Helmut.
What fun.
We're working on it right now.
Definitely
Yes,
out of the
so-
box. That's very cool.
Yes.
All right. Well, they can find all your information at victoriahorne.com, including your crowdfunding campaign, what you do, but more importantly, to get a feel for who you really are. And hopefully today, with your beautiful presence and your charm and your energy, and you gave that to the people on Bobby D Live. And I thank you so much, Victoria, for going through the extra effort in your busy schedule to make this happen for all of us.
Well,
Very
you're
cool.
so welcome. I love you. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. We love you too. And what is there not to love about Victoria Horne, right? Her music, her charm, her talent, and her big heart in where she's going with helping the youth. And hopefully you guys will support her crowdfunding campaign. You'll find that at victoriahorne.com. And the more you give, the more she can give, and the more she can do, and the more we all enjoy life as a byproduct of pure giving. And she'll keep giving her music and her soul to us, and I think that's worth reciprocation for the viewers. So victoriahorne.com. And Victoria, real pleasure. I'll chat with you real soon, and I'll see you in social media where we normally hang around.
Yes, you will.
Very
yes,
cool.
we do.
Thank you. And thank you to Jim
You're
at
welcome.
Eclipse Studio for making this happen. Wonderful.
Yep,
Thank you. Ciao. All right, that was
Ciao.
that was a wonderful Victoria Horne. Wow, how amazing, how cool. And I'm going to hang up on her because she probably does. So what I want to do, I want to wrap up the show today with our wonderful guest, Victoria Horne, a song that, I discovered back, late last year and absolutely loved it. And it's titled Sound of Your Body. It's a dance track from the 80s, but 80s. It never been released till late last year through the Wolf Entertainment label. And I hope you enjoy that. I hope it gets you up and dancing, and I hope it shifts your energy into a positive remaining balance of the weekend, depending where you are on beautiful planet Earth. Your weekend's already at an end, and for those of you in North America and in Europe, it's either early Saturday afternoon, late Saturday afternoon, right? And I'll see you on July the 8th, regular time. It'll be a 90-minute to 2-hour show, depending on how many guests. We're not going 3 hours. That was the relaunch of Bobby D Live after so many years. We went 3 hours because we had our special guest, New York Times best-selling author, James Arthur Ray. And I look forward to getting your feedback about that. So it's a wrap. Sounds of Your Body by Victoria Horne, a Wolf Entertainment artist. Enjoy that. I'll see you in 2 Saturdays from now. Ciao for now.